Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, witnesses, for being here. Not sure I'll get to ask each one of you a question, but some of my questions relate to almost every one of you, I think. My ag background stimulates this question. I guess, Dr. Daniel, you may be a part of this, and Ms. Schlinker, you may also want to respond. But I think the DOE Office of Science funds about 4 bioenergy research centers, if I'm not mistaken, and they conduct coordinated and geographically diverse research in support of developing a viable, sustainable domestic biofuel and bioproducts industry from dedicated bioenergy crops. Now, in the biofuels research that is conducted at your labs through the Bioenergy Technologies Office, how often do you feel like you collaborate with or leverage the expertise of the Office of Science and these bioenergy research centers, and what do you feel that collaboration is like? So how often do you collaborate, and how do you feel that works?
Thank you for that question. Yeah, the Office of Science investments are very, very important for the success of our sustainable transportation program and our innovations in vehicles and mobility systems. We regularly have interactions with those bioenergy centers. We regularly consult with the scientists in there. We even have scientists who are partially funded through those activities and partially funded through our applied research facilities. That interaction from the Office of Science to the Applied Research Program and handing it off to the private sector, I think, is really what makes us so strong and what is really important for the national lab system.
A similar response relative to the Office of Science in our biofuels research that we do at Argonne. In particular, we're looking at feedstocks. We're looking at the opportunity with membrane separations and agricultural land use as an example, and those conversion processes and how you scale that then over into industrial and commercial processes and even into the demonstration phase. So the linkage back to the Office of Science is really important to us, and their expertise in some of these fields is transferred directly over into the applied program.
Thank you. Mr. Coleman, would you care to elaborate, kind of fits into your expertise. Would you care to elaborate on some of the biofuels, bioenergy crops that you're looking into and where that stands?
Well, so our industry, as you know, started with corn because the corn, and by that specifically, it's the inside of the kernel, right? Because that's what is already fermentable. So the corn does the work of making a corn mash that's already fermentable. What's happening now is the industry is self-interested in feedstock diversity. Obviously, they want to be able to not just be tethered to corn prices, but other feedstocks. Where it's gone in phase 2 is waste. So 70% or so of what's in an urban landfill is wood and paper and cardboard. And so you have a tremendous amount of cellulosic material there. And then agricultural residues, corn fiber, corn stover, wheat straw, things like that. So the honest answer is we're working through the waste side because of the low feedstock costs, and we're essentially the demonstration phase on the energy crop side. And a lot of that is really applying efficiencies to existing agricultural commodities to squeeze more product out of those products, efficiencies, and obviously better bottom line. Novozymes, for example, is very interested in alternative crops, some of the miscanthus and the more exciting stuff you hear about on the side.
Thank you. Mr. Chin, you got any? We've got about 48 seconds for 2 more. Any thoughts on that?
No, Congressman, not on those particular thoughts. Rivian's focused on electric vehicles. We're agnostic as to where the electricity comes from.
Thank you. I didn't think so, but I thought I'd give you a chance. But Mr. Cortez, do you have any thoughts since it's in your DOE?
No, as far as the electricity, we're from a hydrogen standpoint, that's really more the area that we're most interested in terms of the generation and green hydrogen and having the supply where we need it to be to drive the demand.
Thank you. My time's up, and I yield back.